So, Mama, je viens vidéo là. So I'm in Philadelphia, as we know. We landed here at about, I want to say 10:30 a.m. and we had a tour organized to visit the old city of Philadelphia at around 3. I didn't know much about Philadelphia, honestly, because in the Canadian school system, they don't teach us American history, they teach us Canadian history. Sorry, my mom's in the shower. Maman! Ferme la porte, s'il te plaît. It was really interesting to see the older buildings because in my experience of visiting American cities, they're all very nice and I've loved every single one of them, but it's always been very modern. And I think the closest thing I've seen to be more historical is Chicago, but even then I didn't really get a chance because I was in Chicago just for more of a festival. But today we did a tour of like all the old parts and I saw a lot of Benjamin Franklin stuff. That was really interesting. Seeing those old houses was really, really cool. I think that was my favorite part. And we had an amazing tour guide. His name was Greg. Really cool guy. I don't know what company he worked for, but he was really good. If you ever do a touristic old city tour guide, a tour in Philadelphia, I hope you get Greg. And as you're walking back, there was just a lot of I just love the buildings here. The architecture is beautiful. I haven't been that much in the States, I'm not gonna lie. I've been to Florida, I've been to New York, I've been to Chicago, I've been to Yellowstone. When it comes to places to visit in the States, from my small experience, I would definitely say Yellowstone is the best overall. It's a national park. But if you're looking for a city to come to, honestly, I would recommend Philadelphia for a weekend getaway at least, because I can't speak on more of a week-long getaway because I had never experienced a whole week in the States. But for a weekend getaway, Philadelphia so far. I was out in the city for only 6 hours and I was obsessed with it. Leave it to the French Canadians to find the only cafe in Philadelphia that is called a French name. Dream of Californication. Tu vas te nascer correct. Pools I ever swam in, but the jets refused to let me swim in a straight line, so I was hitting the walls and I'm sure my head is full of bruises right now. I love pigeons. Our home and native land. Alright, so today I was gonna look for a souvenir to bring home, and the Philly stuff wasn't the cutest. But one thing that I did really want to do was go to Urban Outfitters because the perfume I've worn since I was 18 is called Acai Be, and as you can tell, I've run out of it. Well, it won't spray anymore. And the location in Montreal doesn't sell this smell anymore. I haven't seen it in stores in over a year, so I assumed it discontinued. So I was like, maybe they just discontinued it in Canada. So I went to go look for it, and they had it, but then I saw this smell that I've never seen in Canada called Sucre d'Amande. And it's a little smaller than my Acai Be one. My brother's very much into fragrances. So we went to Sephora, and we went, and I smelled this one called Milk by Commodity. And that one was really, really good. I was obsessed with it. But then today when I found Sucre d'Amande, it's such like a, it's not an exact dupe, but it's in the same ballpark. And I'm obsessed with it. And I can't wait to wear it tonight when we go to the orchestra. We just came back from the orchestra and dinner. I had some halibut fish with veggies. It's pretty good. The orchestra was really, really good. Conductor is from Montreal, which I didn't even know. Yannick something Séguin, very French Canadian, and he had a Quebec accent when he spoke English. It was really interesting. The music was gorgeous. There was this woman who was doing the singing. It was because of the opera as well. She, it was German songs they were singing, and as we all know, I speak German. Because I was able to like understand what she was singing and listen to the music at the same time, it really I think it helped the experience make it more interesting. I do have a soft spot for orchestra. I played in one for 2.5 years, but no, 2 years. Sorry, only 2 years. But there was one song I think was called La Wassermannacht, which translates to a warm summer night. And it was like the lyrics was something along the lines of like, it's a warm summer night, there's not a single star in the sky. I tread through a dark forest and I find the love of my life, and even though there's no stars in the sky, my life is still bright with you in it. And it was very sweet, and at the end of it, this big thing was like, let me have your light, let your light in, And during that, there was like this big orchestral sound. I just love music for that, how you can, and like words on their own can tell so much. Obviously, that's what words are for, to tell things. But when you add music to it, it can amplify the emotions so much. And it was great. I know I'm not saying any groundbreaking stuff about music, but like, just being able to understand the storyline that's being sung and hear the music that was made to follow it, and not have to translate it later on in my head. I feel so grateful to have that skill, that we have to have been taught that skill to speak German, to be able to listen to the music without having to check the lyrics out or translate it in my head afterwards. It was wonderful, and it was really interesting too. It was just really cool to see the director not the director, the conductor kind of dance as he was doing. I know conductors always do that, but this guy was really he was really into it. And the drummer went crazy, the big drums that were went crazy. The bassists, oh my god, they were grinding up and down, because upright basses are, I play electric bass, and that's already, for me, it's difficult. I play, but my hands are pretty small, so I need to jump a lot back and forth to hit all the notes I need to hit. But when I was looking at those upright bassists grinding up and down with the bow, it's like, oh my god, you guys are talented. It's 11 p.m. Tomorrow. We leave actually in 12 hours. My mom is not Christian, but she is she's very interested by religion. and we were walking around to go to a cafe we like, even though we already have coffee. And we stumbled across this church. There was a band rehearsing in there, and it made her cry. So now we're letting her take it all in. Alright, so we're at the Banco Quotidien. This was a place we discovered yesterday. And we're finally going to try one of the pastries, which we got an apple turnover to share. Oh my god. C'est vraiment bon. Such a good call.
And my mom took an iced tea.
Yeah, my mom. Good? We're at the Betsy Ross house. The Betsy Ross is the woman who sewed the first American flag. And this is the room where it happened. This step here is that you can tell that over the last 300 years everyone stood on that same spot, and it's so interesting to see the stone kind of melt to that, like fold into where everyone stepped. I just love that detail. Another thing that I liked about the museum is upstairs there was that little thing about like, why is the American flag on the floor? There's rules against that. There's so many rules with the flag in the States that I didn't even know about. I don't think we have that in Canada, not that I'm aware of. So it's just interesting to see that different culture, how people respect the flag so much more here. Well, not disrespectful in Canada, but here they see that as like something you have to really, really respect. It's just interesting to see. I'm really enjoying this museum. It's great. And we have a new addition to the pin collection. The Betsy House pin right there. I just want to thank my grandparents for inviting my mother and I on this trip. It was an amazing experience and really one of my favorite cities I've ever visited, and I'm so grateful for the experience that I got to see the orchestra and to stay in this amazing hotel and to be able to visit a city like this. I'm repeating myself, but I'm incredibly grateful for this opportunity. And I had a really good time, and I would definitely come back to Philadelphia, and I definitely recommend it to anyone who's looking for a city in the States to visit. I definitely recommend to do Philadelphia, specifically the Old City. So.